Name's AJ LaRosa. I'm the chair of the Burlington DRB, and I'm going to call today's February 4th, 2025 meeting to order. We have two public hearings on our agenda and a certificate of appropriateness hearing. We're going to proceed in the order they're listed. The first item on our agenda is 50 Mansfield Avenue, modern Christi school, and is a renovation including the construction of an ADU. An addition and associated site improvement. Is the applicant here?
Yep.
Yes.
Whoever you want to speak.
And I'd just like to say that I have done consulting for water risk related to some environmental issues, but not directly this project, so I don't think it's possible.
So can I get everybody who wants to speak on this application to raise their right hand? Do you swear the testimony you're about to give is true and correct under the pains and penalties of perjury?
I do.
All right. We have the staff report and we just, typically ask that you walk us through what you want to do. Give us an overview of the plans and the project and walk us through it. And we'll ask you some questions. See where we go.
Perfect. So yeah, Christi is looking to build a extension of what we're calling the old gymnasium building in the back of the property. It's a building that is kind of open inside and has been used for many different uses over the course of the many years that Christi's been on the site. And so now we're going to add a new use to it. It'll be the early education center and will house classrooms for younger children than they currently do right now. It'll be interconnected with the old gymnasium, and we are looking to sort of keep the integrity and use that building kind of as is, and then the addition will be onto it. The 4 classrooms that are in the addition will have 10 students each with 1 teacher. There'll be a floating teacher as well, and there'll also be a teacher in the music. Along with this, this parcel currently is right basically at 3 acres of impervious surface. So any additional impervious surface pushes us into the state law 3-acre rule process. So we hopped right into that. And so there are a lot of other site improvements because we figured if we were sort of doing all this work for the 3-acre work, we might as well do some additional upgrades and sort of realign the parking that's in the back that probably hasn't been touched for many years. Better orient all the stormwater infrastructure and sort of have everything drained to 2 new infiltration basins that are going to be on the site. So that permit, we actually just recently got, I believe at the end of last week. We are also working through Act 250 for this permit, as well as water and wastewater and a water supply. So there's a lot of items that we've sort of gone through for this project, and I think that's kind of the gist of it. Unless Taryn has anything to add, we'd love to take your questions.
I don't have very many. I mean, I would remind the board this is under 24 VSA 4413. We have a limited scope of review available as this is a school. I don't particularly have any. I mean, it seems like you're building an addition to a school. Already developed a lot. I don't see a lot of concerns I have. Anybody else?
So I'm just curious what triggered, why did Act 250 get triggered?
So
That's a simple question.
So Christi is a school, but it's privately owned.
Yeah.
So therefore they considered it a commercial entity. Because it's a commercial entity and the parcel itself is greater than 10 acres, it triggered Act 250 jurisdiction. There is the limit of the downtown sort of regulation of Burlington, but that ends on, fortunately, on the other side of Mansfield.
It does?
Yeah. So there's a corner of Burlington that kind of incorporates this and up through Riverside Ave. That if you sort of meet the same jurisdiction for Act 250, you don't get the downtown. So the jurisdiction
It's already pre-existing on it for some other reason.
And do you see any hurdles with the Act 250?
We are working through it. I don't see any hurdle really, sort of getting all the other permits, anything active 50 is kind of where we're at. So it's right now, we applied, probably the beginning of the year. And so they're just sort of waiting, we're waiting for all the other permits to come in December.
The board?
I live a block from this. I had no idea that little building was back there, so it doesn't seem like it's gonna be very visible.
No, I don't think you could really see it unless you're.
So it doesn't work on the screen. Well, the building that we're adding on to is shaded dark gray.
Yeah.
And the buildings that are in white, those are operated by the school. Those classrooms, so Mansfield on the left is behind it.
This was the old gymnasium for the nunnery.
So I think it's worn many hats over the years, but it does have a very old basketball hoop in it.
I mean, and then,
Yeah.
Adjusted for height.
I was gonna say, we have pictures of non-spike basketball.
Yes.
Murals even.
It is also currently rugged, so I don't.
We intend to keep it as one open room, very representing the school and Tim. Are programming it to become a music room, so they'll teach music and chorus in there. We are looking at putting like a small stage towards the back so that students can perform for parents a couple times a year. And I have met with Kim, for the building inspector, to talk her through my code review of the building and the exiting. And I've also met with Matt Stone, the fire marshal, to discuss the added fire hydrant and sprinkler system. And for the building's life safety systems, and so both of them have a preview of the project and are ready for the permit to come through.
Yeah, that's an additional architectural improvements. Such as gonna be treated. Is there anybody online who wants to be heard on this application?
Sharon, but you're right, but.
Once, twice, hands, right,
Hi.
okay, Sharon, go ahead, didn't see it at that.
Hi, good evening. I wasn't sure if the applicant was finished presenting. I don't know if there are other people there that wanted to speak in person. So I had called Garrett earlier because my question really was focused on the limited review of this, and my concern, although I think has been addressed, was the addition, if it went into what is a slope. I'm really familiar with the property. When the Sisters of Mercy were going to sell the property, they brought in the community and we walked it. So, and this is all consistent with their repurposing of this. This is complete with their original mission, that they wanted Marta Christi School to thrive. And so this seems most appropriate. I have no issue with the proposed expansion. Just wondered about the sloping of the property and not totally understanding why the state, if they have, excluded that from our review. To me, if there was a problem, and I'm not suggesting there is, but if there was a problem with sloping, I see that as a safety issue. And I would have hoped that the DRB and the city would have been able to address that with the applicant, all in the impact is to make it safe and make sure that everybody has the engineering that is necessary. My understanding from Garrett was that there really isn't any slope. It's pretty flat and pretty consistent with where the old gymnasium is, and the property is not absolutely flat, but it certainly isn't a steep slope either. So that was really the only question or concern that I had, and wasn't even sure if it was a concern that you could entertain it, which to me didn't make a lot of sense, but life doesn't always make sense. So anyways, I just want to say, I think that this is a really good use of this property, and this expansion is hardly visible. I did, just full disclosure, I did send out an email because I used to be a city councilor, and I sent out an email for all of the neighbors that live on Mansfield Avenue to inform them, not to have them come to speak in opposition by any means, but to inform them and to include them if they wanted to make any comments at this DRB hearing. Most of them felt really good about the project, and I'm not sure they are there in attendance to speak for themselves, but thank you again.
Thank you. I think, while not applicable here, under 4413, the location of a project does play in, and if there was a serious foundational structural concern, i.e. if you decided to go put this building on the edge of that ever cascading ravine behind you, would be something we would review. You're not, so we won't. And
Thank you.
with that, I think I'll close the public hearing on this.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I think you will obviously, well, not obviously, but we will deliberate on this.
Thank you, I appreciate your time.
The next item on our agenda is 3955 Chase Street. Request to extend the, how do I properly characterize this? It's a time extension request, Garrett, but it's a time extension request to be heard before the DRB, right?
Correct. They already came before you for the first time extension request, which was granted. So it's returning for the second one as it's still incomplete. But no updates have been made to the application.
Okay. Do we have an applicant? The applicant have an architect? For anybody?
I think this is the architect. This is the architect. Is
Oh, that's yours, there's mine.
Yeah, we don't have an applicant. And they don't qualify for a second renewal. That's why.
Yeah, I read the memo, but remind me, like, is there a standard for the second renewal? It's not just as of course, but what should we be looking at?
They need to have, they being the applicants, need to have made progress since the initial time extension. That's
I don't think it would be fair to deny request for an extension without the applicant, though the applicant is required to attend these meetings. So I'm a little betwixt.
Well, yes, just factually, the note in here was from today. Is that right? February 4th or today?
that is the note to you from this meeting.
From today. Oh, for this meeting.
For this meeting.
Okay.
I have still, since the last time this application came to this meeting, I have was not able to have any communications with the applicant for now.
So have they gotten this letter?
It's posted in the application.
But they requested the extension. So there was some communication.
Initially, there were, initially there were plans proposed, and it was part of an agenda packet. And then I remember basically the night before the public hearing, that was changed to a time extension to change those to, I don't know what, I don't think there was a particular reason, but just to further detail out the subdivision plans. And then, yeah.
Right, the last communications I've received from them is to request extensions for this project.
I just want to know why there hasn't been.
Is the second extension, was it an action that they requested, or was it just because the first extension was expiring?
A mix of both. The last communications I had, they requested extensions for this project. But I have not heard from them since the last meeting.
Good. What's the rule that we have for time extensions, is that for us to? Because this is not extending an issued permit, right? This is not,
This is the application. You get 6 months in front of the board, and after that, you need an extension. Which is 3 months.
And then we
get
give you
one
another-
last extension if you're still working for a full year.
and that's even before we issue a decision, right? We're not extending.
It's the application life.
And the consequences of our denial, they have to reapply.
And therefore pay the fee.
Well.
So
they have already
fee.
paid the fee.
Yeah, they have to pay a fee. You have to pay a fee to begin with.
Just to hear it.
Yeah, I
feel like that's a.
Well, there-
Yeah,
you can hear them.
or we can extend it. I know they aren't here, they really should be here, but the only thing we're extending is their ability to come and tell us about the project.
Yeah, I guess that's sort of functionally where I'm at. It's like, so we deny it and they just pay a fee again and come back.
Which I don't know, but
That's what,
feels like we can.
I mean, they may not have made progress. But functionally, I'd rather them try to make progress in the next 3 months than start from the beginning again. All that does is have an applicant pay an additional fee and no material. It's not like it's a new non-conforming use.
But I'm still unclear on whether they asked, so they asked for the first extension, we granted that in November.
Yes.
We've heard nothing from them since November. Not even, hey, can we have a second extension?
Oh, so they haven't asked for
Yeah.
I have, the last communication I had, they asked for extensions.
But that was before.
That was before the previous extension.
Oh, so they haven't even asked for
Since
something.
then, I haven't gotten any information from them at all.
Oh, that's different.
Yeah.
All
I
right,
think that was what I was trying to.
So this
Silence,
is basically
November.
before, it's just because the timeline is expiring.
so the applicant has not asked for an extension,
No, this is,
and when does it end?
it would have been. I believe it was on the 3rd of
February?
February, I believe.
I don't think we have a.
I can go back and look exactly what.
Do we even
I
have
don't think we
any?
have something in front of us.
I don't think we have something in front of us either.
I think we have moved that we take no action and then move on to the next.
Second, the applicant hasn't asked, we don't have an application in front of us. And if that means their extension has been, if they've run out of 90 days, they've run out of 90 days.
Yeah.
Thank you for being diligent and trying to help them, but they need to ask.
So this was not a second time extension request.
This was an alert that there was a second time extension, and Garrett was trying to be nice.
It does explicitly say, even if there was, it does explicitly say in the ordinance that it is entirely, the DRB shall not grant another extension if there are no additional plans submitted.
All right, well then,
So.
we take no action and so be it. All right,
Do we need to vote on that? You just had a.
do we need to vote on that? Second, all right, all those in favor? Do we have an applicant for this one? 28 Sunset Cliff Road, ZP 2513.
We do have an applicant.
Right. Max, yours.
Hey, everybody, this is Max Garrison. I am the applicant.
Max, could you raise your right hand? Do you swear the testimony you're about to give is true and correct under the pains and penalties of perjury?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and if there's anyone else who wanted to speak on this application, I don't see anybody online. But Scott, is there anybody?
No, just Max. Does Max have his hand up?
All right, Mary, this is your project.
Yes, it was recommended for consent.
I
It's in the
thought-
application.
I thought it was, and just. This is a reapplication, just remind me, there was a permit issued. And did a time expire or something? Why are they
Yeah, the zoning permit is good for 3 years and they've surpassed that and the project's not complete.
And there are some minor alterations to the approved plans. Does anybody on the DRB object to treating this as a consent agenda item? No. No. Max, did you get a copy or have you looked at the staff report?
Yes, I did. Mary sent that to me beforehand.
you have any concerns with it?
No, it was pretty straightforward. I think in general, I reduced the scope of the project. So yeah, I don't think there was any, there was no contested changes, so pretty straightforward.
Okay. Well, if nobody objects to hearing it as a consent agenda item, and there's nobody here, move that we approve ZP 282513, 28 Sunset, it's the address of the street, so.
Sunset Cliff Road.
Yep, right. This item.
My second?
ZP 2513, 28 Sunset Cliff Road, I move that we approve the project, Leo seconds, discussion. All those in favor? Aye. Good luck,
Great. Thank you for your help, everybody.
try not to take 3 years again.
Yeah. My wife is there with you.
This one, yeah. Oh, Mansfield, yes, right.
5,000.
Sure there'll be a lot.
Recording stopped.
Yeah.
Susan?